them into Television Jamaica's Facebook page or Instagram at Television Jam. Today's lesson is an introduction to matrices and adding and subtracting of matrices.
I am Karema Mundel-Thomas.
And I am Latoya Shurriah.
Now, as we said earlier, we're going to be looking at matrices. We're going to be zooming in a bit on addition and subtraction of matrices. But first, here are the objectives for today's lesson. So by the end of this session, you should be able to define the concept of a matrix, identify the order of a matrix as it relates to rows and columns, and finally, add and subtract matrices of the same order correctly.
You know, Karema, I'm so happy that this is what we're doing today. Because I remember a conversation you and I were having, and you were telling me that it's been a while since you have done some matrices question and you don't want to lose the content that you have.
It really has
been.
And so
I'm happy today that we can be able to do this and share with our viewers as well, so we all can learn together.
Excellent.
Now, what can you remember though about matrices? And viewers at home, I want you to write down what you know or what you can remember about matrices, and as we go along, you can tick off to see if you remembered correctly.
So Latoya, I know it has something to do with rows, columns, but it's a bit hazy. Can you clarify for me a bit?
You're actually perfect, on point.
I am? Wow.
Definitely. A matrix is a rectangular arrangement of numbers in rows and columns. But before we get into the matrix of it all, I just want to remind you though that matrix is the singular form and matrices is the plural form of the word.
All right. But I want to ask a question. I want to point out something actually, because the definition says a matrix is a rectangular arrangement of numbers into rows and columns. I want to expand that a bit. We're not limited to numbers, but we can also have expressions in our matrix as well.
And we will get into that as we go along.
I'm sure we will.
So as we were discussing that it is indeed an arrangement of rows and columns of numerical representation or letters, as you said, or expression. So here we have an example matrix A is equal to, and we have an arrangement of some numbers there.
All right, so I'm seeing -2, 5, 6, 5, 2, 7. And I'm looking here, Latoya, and I'm seeing that we have 2 rows and we have 3 columns.
We do indeed.
Beautiful.
So you identified that we had 2 rows and 2 columns, and that's
3 columns.
2 rows and 3 columns.
Yes.
Thank you. Now that's perfect into what we're moving into now, which is the order or the dimension of the matrix.
Dimension.
Yes, dimension.
That's a big word. I'm not even going to look on the screen yet because I don't want to cheat, but I'm thinking that dimension has to do with, well, when I was in geometry class, we would have learned about length and width.
Right.
Yes, and so when I hear dimension, the first thing that comes to my mind is length and width. Does it have anything to do with that?
It actually does. We don't really call it length and width, but the dimensions of a matrix actually tells the size of the matrix, which is how many rows and how many columns are in the matrix actually.
Oh.
Right, so going back to our example from earlier, matrix A would have 2 rows and 3 columns. So we would say that that is a 2 by 3 matrix.
A 2 by 3 matrix.
Right.
Latoya, I really want to ask you, you're sure it could be a 3 by 2 matrix?
That's actually an excellent question in a Karema, but guess what? When we talk about matrix, we talk about rows and columns. So rows come first and then the columns. And the mere fact that we have 2 rows this time and 3 columns, it's a 2 by 3. So rows by column.
Oh, so a 3 by 2 would mean 3 rows and 2 columns. Oh my goodness, I feel so brilliant.
Yes.
But no. Hold on. You're moving too fast for me, girl. Remember that. I don't want to lose my content. So I have to take a little time. Now I'm looking at this matrix and I'm seeing 6 terms in there. What are them name again? Elements. Right.
Elements or entries.
Or entries.
We'll get to that.
So I'm seeing 6 entries there. And when I looked at the dimension, it says 2 by 3. And my timetable tell me 2 times 3 is 6.
2 times 3
So
is
does
6?
that mean I can use the description of the matrix and tell how many elements are in that matrix?
You actually can.
Oh, great.
I wish I had a gold star to put right on it.
Oh my, oh my.
All right. So as you did, so we'll get to that in a moment, but I just want to tell you about now remind you about some special matrices that we have.
All right.
Right? So we have column matrix, which is as simple as it says. It's a matrix with a column, one column. It can have as many rows, but it only have one column. I just want to remind you, I know you know it, but I just want to remind you that column refers to the vertical arrangement. So,
of course, because
yes.
when I'm going through my driveway and I'm going through my gate, the gate is on a column and it's vertical.
Yes,
okay,
excellent.
So I can't imagine a column being horizontal.
You
my
can't.
columns don't lay down on the ground, don't.
That would mean your house needs to be
sorted
out.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
All right, then we have the row matrix. And this is referring to a matrix with just one row. As many columns, but one row. And then we have the square matrix.
Wait, Latoya, wait, let me guess this one.
All right.
Let me guess this one. So when we talk about a square, in geometry, we say a square is a special rectangle. And it's special because all the sides are equal.
Right,
so
right.
length and width are the same.
Right.
So I think this one is called a square matrix because it has the same number of rows as the number of columns. So
you don't need me, man. I can leave you to just finish this.
So this looks like a 2 by 2.
It is a 2 by 2.
So is it possible I can have a 3 by 3?
Or a 4 by 4?
Oh, makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Makes sense.
All right. Moving on now to our matrix elements and entries. So you would have alluded to finding the number of elements in a matrix by multiplying the description, whether it's a 2 by 3 or a 3 by 2. But I also wanted to zoom in on this little information right here, so now.
So I'm seeing here where it says each entry or element is shown by a lowercase letter, or what we call in our English class a common letter.
Right.
Yeah, we refer to it like that. And with a subscript. Very big word. But it's simply saying to us that the subscript are some smaller numbers that are written a little bit below our common letter. And so it's identified by naming the row and column in which this element appears. So on screen we have matrix A. And this matrix has 6 elements. Now if I want to locate an element, yes, I can actually pay attention to its position in the matrix. And you know, Latoya, before I go any further, this reminds me of when I was going to school. You know, in our classroom, usually in rows and columns, and the teacher could walk in, and sometimes you're wondering, oh, Miss not register. But Miss knows exactly where you sit. She knows exactly where you're located, and so she's making a mental note of who is here and who is not. And I used to wonder how she does it, but now that I'm learning about matrix, I'm getting a better understanding. So I'm looking at this matrix A, and I'm seeing here where this first element is written as a common A, as we said before, because it belongs to matrix A. So if this was a matrix B, we would refer to it as common B. Right. But what fascinates me is the subscript here. So I'm seeing 1, 1. That seemed to be telling me that this element is in row 1, column 1. Am I correct?
Very much so.
Oh Lord, I feel so brilliant.
So.
Yes,
I feel like I can just let it take over and just sit and you teach me.
So I'm looking at this one here now, and it's 1, 2, saying to me that yes, it is still in row 1, but it is now in column 2.
Yep.
And over here, still row 1, column 3. And if we notice when we get to row 2, the first digit or the first number in our subscript changes and is now 2. So this is telling me I am now in row 2, column
1.
Oh my good stuff.
You turn the teacher and I'm now the student. Look at that.
Okay.
Look at that.
That happens from time to time.
All right. Let's see if you at home are now paying attention. Consider this matrix G. Which element do you think would be G subscript 2, 1? I'm going to give you 10 seconds. All right, cutting the time short. What do you think? All right? 18 was your answer?
Yes,
Yay!
that's fantastic.
All right.
Excellent stuff. Excellent stuff.
So let me see if you've actually learned to know or understood all that we've said thus far, because it's a little mouthful. So consider this matrix D, and I want you to now fill in all the blanks.
All right, so this looks like 7 different things.
Is it?
Let's give them a little time, you know, just to fill that in quickly, and then we have a nice discussion about it.
Should we try one of those TikTok challenges I see going on the internet in the meantime? Do you want me to do some push-ups?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
No.
I'm happy you said no, because I really wasn't ready.
No.
All right. So what you have for the name? What's that?
D. Yes.
All right. Number of rows? 1, 2, 3,
4.
go. Yes.
Okay.
Number of columns?
3.
All right. Dimension?
A 4 by 3.
4 by
row by column. That's right.
All right.
Element D, 2, 3. So that's second row,
Third column.
Right, 11.
Element D, 3, 2.
So that's the third row, second column. That looks like 12. And D, 4, 2. That's the fourth row, second, negative 3.
Negative. High five. All right.
Yes. We're doing great. We're doing great.
All right. So, we're going to get into some real deal now.
All right.
So, I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a coach of a cricket team, you know. And he was telling me that he wants to look at the performance of 3 of his best batsmen. And I say, all right then, so you cricket, me maths teacher, how we can put this together?
Okay.
And so I thought that I would show it to him in a matrix form. And so I want to bring that to you now, and maybe this conversation that you and I are having, it could probably give me some more insight, and I can go back and have a presentation for him nice, so he can really understand how his boys are performing, right?
Sounds like a plan.
So he's the coach for Week Year Secondary High School. And they are having a cricket tournament now. And for each of the games, they play 2 innings. So they play a first inning against their opponents, and then they come back and play a second inning.
Okay.
So we are now going to look at the runs the batsmen made for 3 of the opposing schools. So A, B, and C represents the opposing school.
All right.
And the 3 boys are black, brown, and white. Right?
Okay.
So Black made 8 runs against school A, and then he made 10 runs against school B, 21 runs against school C.
All right.
Brown now, he made 10 runs against school A, 8 runs against school B, and 34 against school C. Okay. White, 18 against school A, 6 against school B, and 17 against school C. I want to put this in a matrix form. And we were talking about rows and columns a while ago.
I was just about to say that.
So
yes.
how can we can put this in a matrix form, right?
It nearly looked like a matrix already.
Basically, all you have to do is just remove
the grid. Yes, and we basically have our matrix. There we go. Matrix X.
Go.
Good.
All right. So, then this is the information now for the second inning. Right?
All right, there were 2 innings, right?
There were 2 innings. So they played the first time, and then they came again and played against the same school in a second set of batting and bowling.
All right.
So in this case now, Black 17 against school A, 17 runs. Then 3 runs against school B. Only one run against school C. Out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Brown had 3 runs against school A, 8 against school B, 5 against school C. White, he didn't even get to make any run at all. The first ball that was thrown at him, he was out. And so he made no run for school A, 16 against school B, and 7 against school C.
All right.
And we're going to represent this information
as a matrix.
As a matrix.
All right, that's fine.
So, I was saying to him, let's look at... I'm not sure what's happening to... Okay, I was saying to him, let's look at the total runs that the batsmen made for both innings against each school when they were playing.
Makes sense.
So,
And based on what you said, you used that word total. You wanted to look at the total number of runs made by each batsman against each school. Now, when I say the word total, you know which operation pops in my head immediately?
Multiplication? Just joking.
No, girl. Addition.
Addition, right.
Yes. Yes.
So as you said, I went ahead and added the matrices rather. So I knew that my X, which is my innings 1, the first inning, Y is my second inning, and so I just went ahead and added both of the matrices.
So we want to focus a little bit more on how to perform this addition.
Right.
Because there are so many numbers.
I want to tell you, when I put it together first, I said this must be confusing for the poor man.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm now going to have to explain to him very vividly how it is that I went ahead. But then I thought to myself, if it is that X, which is the first matrix, represents the first inning, and then the Y represents the second inning, we know that row 1, column 1 would have been what?
Black's performance.
Against school
A. Right.
So if I'm looking at the total for black against school A, then clearly I'd be looking at just row 1, column 1.
Makes sense. So black scored 8 against school A in the first innings, and he scored 17 against school A again, but in the second innings. So we can put those together.
And that's exactly what I did right there with the 8 plus the 17.
That makes sense.
So let me show you. So this is black now against school A, 8 and 17. And that's a total of 25.
Makes sense, yes.
If I'm now looking at black, same black against school B, I now add first row, second column.
In each matrix.
In each matrix.
Right.
And it continues the same. So black again against school C, first row, third column for each matrix, and I'll get my result, 22.
Makes sense.
When you're adding in matrices, you just pay attention to your element in the corresponding places for each matrix.
Oh, makes sense. So we look at the location that we described
look at the
earlier.
location. That's why it's important for you to know the location.
That's right. And so we're adding matrix that are pretty much in the same location. Yes?
Yes, we are.
So we're looking at corresponding elements.
I like that word. Corresponding.
That's right. Corresponding elements in each matrix,
yes.
And we just add those together. Sounds fairly easy. We just need to ensure that we're focused.
Let me tell you something. You see, working with matrices, you have to be very focused because you can make the simplest of mistakes.
True. All right. So what else did the coach ask about? Because I'm curious. This looks exciting. What else does he want to know? So
what I did now, I placed back the total in a table to show him.
Makes sense.
And then so I was trying to try to get the information from the table to explain to him what's happening. So when I look at this, I said to him, but it seems like you need to give White some pat on the shoulder, man. Because based on his total runs for both innings against all 3 schools, he would have been consistent.
Okay,
when he played against School A, he had 18 runs in total. School B, 22 runs in total. And then School C, 24 runs in total. So each match he played...
So it seemed as if he was increasing and doing better each time.
Yes, he did.
Okay, and I want to point out, though, that also from this table we can see where Black scored the most of his runs against School A.
Right.
So he was able to score all of 25 runs.
All of 25.
Against School A. Makes sense.
And then I don't know what happened to Brown. Somebody probably spoke to him and he had a whopping 29 runs against School C. You know, Brown came as if he came with a vengeance. Our school has to win this thing.
You know, those pep talks do a lot for sportsmen, you know.
I would like to think so. Yeah. So after adding up the matrices now, I put it back together and I was, giving him a little presentation.
All right, makes sense. But I want to know what else the coach asked. He doesn't want to know anything else.
I was actually saying to him, technology, I tell you, not sure what's happening.
All right, just popping. All right, so
he was actually asking me, no, I was actually saying to him, but why don't you look at how the boys are performing in the first inning as opposed to the second inning? Because when I was looking at the total runs they made, and when I was looking at, you know, the numbers from the first inning and the second inning, I was seeing some little disparities, and I'm saying, what's happening? You know, so I said to him, how about look at how the boys are performing from the first inning as opposed to the second inning. Okay, so we want to look at basically the difference between the performances. So we're looking at how they performed in the second innings, and we're looking at how different is that from how they perform in the first innings. Right. All right, so when I think difference now, I like to look for keywords, you know, forgive me, but, you know, that's how I am. And I see difference, and I immediately see subtraction. Am I correct? Yes. Oh, great. Fantastic. Yes, you are. All right. And so what I went ahead and did was to subtract the matrices. And just like when we were adding, what do you think we're going to do now? Add corresponding elements in each matrix. But we're finding difference. My bad. You see, I tell you, focus there, focus. I got distracted for a little, so let me refocus. All right, so we're going to be subtracting corresponding elements. I like when you say corresponding, I just feel like corresponding. I feel like I want to make up a dance. Corresponding elements. So every time we say corresponding, we're going to go corresponding. Right, so you're the dancer. I'm not going to embarrass myself. All right. So we did indeed subtract the corresponding elements, keeping it. And so this is what we had now. All right. So in the second, so we're looking at the second inning first, and then the first inning. So the first matrix is y minus x. Right. So the second innings minus what they would have done in the first inning. Excellent. And so 17 subtract 8 is our 9. So first row, first column, first row, first column. So I want you to notice, you know, in each of the matrices we have first row, first column, first row, first column, first row, first column. You see what I'm saying? The answer has to go in that same position. Definitely. So it's not just when you're adding or subtracting. So let's even take the second response. First row, second column. First row, second column. First row, second column. So it has to correspond each time. All right, okay. All right. Here we go again. First row, third column. First row, third column. First row, third column. So everything has to, come on, man, correspond. Makes sense. You're leaving me hanging, man, Karema. I told you I'm not the dancer. So, all right, so I leave that part to you. Showing the corresponding. Right. So I think we pretty much get the idea of what to do, but what does this really tell us? Because we have looked at the subtraction, yes, and we're making a comparison now between the gentleman's performance in the second innings as against the first one. Now, when I look at this, I can see here that Black scored 9 more runs in the second innings than he did in the first. He actually did. Based on that positive 9. He actually did. Yes, and then when I look at School C, I see that negative 20. Don't know what happened. Suggesting to me that Black's performance was on the decline, Well, I think he was tired, maybe. Maybe. Sun was hot. Perhaps. Or maybe COVID-19 came. Perhaps. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know. But I want to zoom in on that 0, though, for Brown. 0. That seemed to suggest to me that Brown performed or got the same number of runs in both innings. Right, so there was no difference, basically. So when we did that subtraction, we would have gotten 0. Right. Makes sense. So what I said to him actually was just look at the positive or the negatives of the numbers. So if your batsman had a positive difference, that means that he would have improved. If there was
Okay.
a negative difference,
Performance declined.
it's performance
Or-
decline.
oh,
And then
makes
0
sense.
clearly, there was no
On the
difference.
same page.
Right.
Okay. You know, you sound like you could actually go into coaching full time. You know, if this teaching thing not working out for you, you know, you have another option that you can.
I think you're setting me up. I think you're setting me up.
But you know, this points out, you know, just how real life matrices is and how we can use it so much to, you know, guide our thinking and to ensure that, you know, we can put everything in context.
Definitely.
You know, when I look at it, I almost seeing something like a chest of drawer, like, you know, different drawers that we pulling out.
Okay.
Yeah, and the
and if
information
you fold
is
up your
locked
clothes
in.
properly.
Yeah, makes sense. But you know, we are getting the wrap-up signal, and so when we come back from this break, we will look at a second activity that, of course, is all about matrices. More Schools Not Out right after the break. What was missing? There was something on the screen about
Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays.
Welcome back to Schools Not Out, where we are discussing matrices in CSEC math. If you have any questions on what we've done so far, you can send them in on our various platforms and we'll see if we can answer in the final segment. So Latoya, earlier, before the break, we looked at your new job as coach. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
No, my dance move.
All right, hold on. So we looked at the coaching scenario.
Okay.
Let me fix that up. And we talked about the table showing the difference in the number of runs made by each batsman. And we were making an assumption that difference means subtraction. So we want to ensure that our viewers understand that it is in this context that we're referring to.
Right.
Yeah, so in this context, we're talking about difference referring to subtraction as it relates to the scenario. I think our viewers are ready for activity 2.
I think they are.
You think so?
If you're ready for activity 2, let me see you do the corresponding dance. After 2, ready? 1, 2, corresponding.
This girl is going to embarrass me on live television.
You're not even trying though.
Let's go.
All right. So we're going to correspond the information that we got earlier to some questions. Okay?
All right. Nice.
All right. So we have some matrices here, A, B, and C. Now let me see if you would have learnt anything that we would have spoken about earlier.
All right.
I need you to produce, create, write out the matrix which represents or does not represent, and I need you to tell me why, if it doesn't, A plus B, A minus B, and then A plus C. So let's start with A plus B first.
That sounds like you want me to go to the board. So
let's
take out our matrix A. So we're looking at A plus B. So let's see what's in our matrix.
I'll tell you, negative 1, do the rows first.
Yes.
2, 0,
All right.
0,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
and 6.
Beautiful.
That's representing A, right?
right?
Okay, B, 0, negative 4, 3, 9, negative 4, negative 3.
And you are asking me to add matrix A to matrix B.
Yes. What's the first thing you're going to do? Let's go. We're gonna
look for the elements that are corresponding. I will
I'm
not
trying to make this dance a thing.
No. So negative 1 plus 0.
Okay.
And that, of course, because I'm looking at row 1, column 1,
yes,
it's going to be positioned at that location as well. Then
because
I have 2 plus negative 4 followed by 0 plus 3. I'm now moving to row 2, 0 plus 9, 3 plus negative 4, and 2 plus negative 3. Think I'm ready for the answer now.
All right.
So, negative 1 plus 0, negative 1. 2 plus negative 4, negative 2. 0 plus 3, 3 of course. 0 plus 9, 9. 3 plus negative 4, negative 1. And 2 plus negative 3 is also negative 1. Let's see. Am I correct?
Yes,
I know you have the answer, miss. Just bring up the answer on screen.
It is correct, but we are having a little error here.
Oh, we are?
Yes. So
because you gave, you're setting me up.
I am?
Yes, that wasn't a 2, that's a 6.
Oh, so what you did would have been correct then.
All right, so let's fix that up.
Okay.
See, you first setting me up with a dance, and now you're setting me up with...
You tried to set me up with being a coach.
All right,
Set up for set up.
All right, fine.
It's only fair. All right.
But I get it though, I get it, right?
You did.
All right, so...
I think the next one was A minus B. It's pretty much the same.
So we can show our viewers.
They all have to do what?
Correspond.
Just try one time, no, just one time.
No.
You're gonna try, watch. All right,
so let's look at the answer on screen.
All right. So as we would have said, ensure that your responses whilst you're doing your solution, corresponds with your answer. So we have row 1, column 1, negative 1, and we're subtracting row 1, column 1 from matrix B, which is our 0. Row 1, column 2, matrix A, 2, subtracting from row 1, column 2, which is our negative 4.
So we're subtracting row 1, column 2 in B from A.
From A.
Right.
Right. So we're just corresponding. I want you to really try the A minus C now.
A minus C. I think I
Yes.
need to go on the board to try that one. So I already have A.
Right.
So let's put up matrix C. Can you remind me of the elements in matrix C?
I hope I'm correct this time. 0.
If you're not correct this time, I'm going to be sure you're setting me up.
Negative 4. 0, negative 4.
Yes.
And then 9, negative 4.
So,
First thing we have to do is...
ensure they correspond. I will not jiggy with you.
And ding dong, if you're watching, please call me.
Negative 1.
Lottie Ravers.
You're crazy. Negative 1 minus 0. And 2 minus negative 4. Well, I tell you, I have a problem.
What now?
What am I going to be taking away from 0? I don't see anything over here.
You sure?
You're setting me up again. This girl, look here, man.
Oh. So,
You well I know that those matrices cannot be subtracted, and you're setting
why
me
can't
up.
they though?
Well, this one has 2 rows, 3 columns.
These have 2 rows too.
Yeah, but it only have 2 columns. Where am I going to find that extra column that I need to work with this one?
Okay. Here. Roll a little bit. You know.
Oh, I come
Just
in
a
on too
joke.
strong.
It was
Okay.
just a joke.
All right, all right.
It was just a joke.
All right.
All right. So as you actually said, if we are looking at our corresponding elements or entries, then we wouldn't have any corresponding element in matrix C for our third column in matrix A. And so matrices A and C are not compatible.
Right.
Now, what do
For
we mean
addition
by
and subtraction.
compatible?
So we're looking at those that, can be added. Compatibility, we have to test those for all the operations, but today we're looking at addition and subtraction.
Right.
And so for addition and subtraction, for the matrices to be added or subtracted, they must be of the same dimension or order. We spoke about that earlier, girl.
All right.
Yes, I'm remembering.
I feel like I want to make up a dance called
No.
Okay.
I forbid it.
All righty, moving right along. Okay.
I forbid it.
Given the following equation, I want you to try this at home now, viewers. Given the following equation below, solve for A. Solve for A, how we get here?
Very good question. You know, I'm sure some of our students were like, yeah, matrices. Ooh.
You know,
and then they see now that they must solve for A. And
I always hear students say, teacher gave 1 + 1 in class and then put A + B on the exam. So in this case, we're doing the A + B for you.
Such nice teachers. So let's
I know,
see
right?
what was the result?
1, 0, 10, 12.
Okay. So,
This looks like an equation.
yes, and what I can tell you based on what's on the board is that A must be a 2 by 2 matrix.
How you know that?
Because you just tell me, say, matrix must be of the same dimensions for them to be added. So if I add A to this and get this, then A must be a 2 by 2 matrix.
So that means that they are, I think I'm making up a dance, compatible.
No, you will not make up a dance.
Compatible.
So,
This is the new dance. Compatible.
all right,
Correspond, they must be no? Okay.
moving on. No, so you mentioned equation though, and we want to ensure that our viewers and our students remember that when we're talking about equations, we have to ensure that everything is balanced. So what's on my left-hand side is equal to what is on my right-hand side. And so we're treating this pretty much as we would treat any other equation.
Right.
And so I want to get matrix A by itself on my left-hand side, which means that I need to subtract, because I have added this matrix, so I need to subtract this matrix from both sides. What do you know about, what do you expect to happen if I have a matrix and I subtract the same matrix from itself?
So if I borrow $200,000 from the bank, and then I pay back the $200,000 provided, well, let's not use a bank because that has interest. So if I borrow $200,000 from my mother, and then I pay back my mother, then that would be zero.
Zero.
Balance out.
So having done that, what would I now have on the left-hand side?
This just looks
Matrix
like A. But I think for the purpose of the viewers, we want to just write it out.
Not sure how much space we have, but let's see if we can get it in.
To show, right.
Let's see if we can fit it in, trying to write as small as possible, but still legible. Because we're gonna have to do this on the other side, remember?
Indeed, balancing.
Right.
Three, 5, 2, 2.
All right. All right. I managed to fit it in.
You did.
Okay, so here's our matrix A, and we're gonna look at the corresponding elements. So 3, take away 3.
0.
0. Ooh. 5, take away 5.
0.
Okay, 2, take away 2.
0.
And this 2, take away this 2.
0.
So like we're having a 0 matrix right there. Anyway, so let's check what's on the other side. So right now, we have A plus 0, and we know that leaves us with A.
Right.
So we're checking on this side now. Don't have enough space to write out, so let's verbalize it for our viewers.
So we're looking at the what now?
Corresponding
elements.
1 minus 3.
That's negative 2.
Okay. All right. 0, take away 5.
That's negative 5.
10, take away 2.
That's 8.
And 12, take away 2.
That's 10.
Ah, nice. So our matrix A, what did I tell you, Latoya? Matrix A has to be a 2 by 2.
And you were indeed correct.
Confirmation.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right.
Feel it in my bones. Yeah. Excellence. That is not corresponding. I don't feel that in my bones.
That is not true.
But I feel excellence.
Great. All right. So we're moving on now. You know what I like though so far? I'm seeing where matrices, adding and subtracting matrices, is actually being integrated with other
concepts in math?
Yes.
Yes.
I like that. So that means that I'm not just doing matrices, adding 2 matrices, but I'm seeing where it's applicable in other situations.
I like that too.
I like that.
All right, so let me clean up the board while you talk to us about activity 4.
So here is our 4th activity. Given the following equations in matrix form below, calculate the exact values for x and y. Are you trying at home? I hope you're working out these questions.
So I'm not waiting on you to set me up. I'll look for myself and I will write what is there so we can ensure we have the correct thing. Ooh. And she's still setting me up.
I'm sorry.
This girl is not easy.
I'm so sorry. It's not me, it's the technology.
Yeah, okay.
Blame it on the technology.
All right, stick to dancing.
No.
Singing is not for you.
How about stick to the math? I think we can all agree to that.
All right, so here we have on our left-hand side 2 matrices that we're to add.
Right.
And it's equal to this matrix on the right-hand side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add the corresponding...
The what? The what? Go again there.
I will not repeat for you, but for the viewers, I'm going to go ahead and add the corresponding elements. Not for you. All right, so let's go. Negative 3 plus 4, and we have x plus 6. And down here we have 2y plus negative 3. And on this side, 0 plus 1.
Now, Karema, you're at a juncture that is seemingly interesting.
Stop frightening me.
We have never done this before.
Yes.
Nothing never equal to anything.
But hold on, we're going to talk about that. But allow me to reach down here a little bit.
Okay.
And then I see where you're going, you know.
Okay.
I don't read minds, but I see where you're going.
Okay.
All right. So, -3 plus 4.
-1. 1, +1, sorry.
And then I have x plus 6.
Joking.
And now I have 2y minus 3. And over here I have 1. And that is equal to 1, 7, -5, 1. Now, Latoya, you know, we place a lot of emphasis on this equal sign because
Come, let me hear you.
when we talk about equal, we're saying what is on the left-hand side
Is
the same or equivalent to what is on the right-hand side. No, don't bother try to
I'm
think about
waiting
any
for the
dance.
word.
No,
I'm
not
waiting
gonna
for
say
the word.
So, here's what I want you to look at, though. Here's what I want you to look at. Now, the fact that they told us that these two matrices are equal, they must meet two conditions.
all right.
So, looking at this, I see where it is a 2 by 2, so 2
Right.
rows, 2
Two
columns.
columns.
And I'm seeing here that this one is also a
2 rows and 2 columns, right?
But
2 by 2.
I don't think that that is enough for us to say that two matrices are equal. There's something else. So I need to now look at the elements. And I'm not going to use
What kind
that
of
C
elements?
word.
What kind of elements? What kind of elements?
So I'm going to be looking at the corresponding elements. So let's look at this one here. Row 1, column 1, we have the number 1. And let's look in this matrix over here. Row 1, column 1.
Yes.
Still 1.
Still 1.
So look here now in row 2, column 2, we have a 1 there as well.
Right.
And we're seeing that coming out. So the fact that these two matrices are equal,
Right.
we can conclude that x plus 6 must be equal to
7.
Yes. And 2y minus 3 must be equal to -5.
Because they are... No. Okay.
Equal matrices.
Chorus.
The noise that you're looking for, but you're not going to get it today. So,
All right.
as we said, just want to ensure that our viewers understand that when we talk about equal matrices, we're saying that they must meet two conditions. One, they must have the same dimensions.
Or order.
Right? And also their corresponding elements must be equal.
Definitely.
Right? So we're not finished yet because the question wants us to find x and y.
But
We'll
we
have a
can
couple
find
of
it
minutes.
here.
We can't, all right, because our
Right?
space is like...
So seeing that the question left us with two equations, well, an
Right.
expression on one side with its equivalent on the other side, or equality. So let's take x plus 6 equals 7 first.
All right.
And the question did ask us to find the exact values,
Correct.
for x and y.
Yes. And so I'm looking at this, Latoya, and I see where we need to do our inverse operations.
Ooh.
So on
Should I
this...
make up a dance for inverse?
No.
Okay.
On this side, we have x plus 6. And so to get x by itself, we're going to do the inverse of plus 6, which is to minus 6. And we can do that, of course, we must do that on both sides.
Right, because we
So,
want our equations to
The
balance.
balance, right. So now we are told here that x, therefore, because this will give us now 0, I have 6 and I give it away, don't have any. Have 7, gave away 6, and now I only have 1.
And so our x would be exact value of 1.
All right, and then we had 2y minus 3
Yes.
being equal to -5. So we're coming up on a break, so we're just going to finish this part of the question, and then we take our final break. So here, again, inverse operations. So we're going to be adding 3 to both sides. So now we have 2y being equal to -2. And here, the inverse of multiplying by 2
Dividing
by 2. And of course, I must do this on both sides. 2 into itself, 1. 2 into 2, 1. So now I have y being equal to
negative 1.
This is so
should have been negative 1.
interesting. This is so interesting.
Yes, neg y is equal to negative 1 indeed.
Interesting stuff here.
Well,
so we are up on a break.
Yeah.
And I see you have on screen more practice with matrices equation when
Yeah.
we return. Well, we'll have a few minutes. We may be able to take one in. When we come back, we're also going to be answering your questions and of course, wrapping up. Do stay tuned to School's Not Out. Girl.
From 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. School's Not Out. Live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present School's Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly School's Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. School's Not Out, live.
Reduce your risk of viral illnesses like the flu and coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing with a tissue and dispose of it. Avoid close contact with anyone with a cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or the nearest health center and share your travel history. The flu and coronavirus can kill. Let's protect each other. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Second CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present School's Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly School's Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. School's Not Out. Live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present School's Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly School's Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. School's Not Out. Live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present School's Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly School's Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. School's Not Out. Live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information,
going to
along
be
with
practicing. So we have a question here for you, our lovely viewers at home. M and N are two matrices where M is equal to, you can see here, and N is equal to.
All right, so for the benefit of our listeners on Music 99.
Oh yes,
so
my bad.
M has A.
First row, first column.
Right, followed by A plus 1 in the first
A
row.
plus
second,
B.
A plus B, sorry.
First row, second column.
Right.
Second row, first column, we have B plus C. And the second row, second column, D plus A. And then N is equal to -2 sub -2 9 4 3. So given that M equal N, determine the values of A, B, C, and D.
All right. So we're looking again at another case of equal matrices.
Yes.
All right. And
I think
so
I like these.
We're being asked now to find the value of A, B, C, and D.
Right.
Well, Latoya, as I look at this, I'm seeing where A is equal to -2.
A is what to 2? -2?
Equal to -2.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. So A is equal to -2. Now our job is to figure out what is A plus B. Now we're told based on equal matrices, A plus B therefore must be equal to 9. And here we can do a substitution.
Oh.
So we already know that A is -2.
Right.
So where A is, I can simply substitute -2. And we're back to that equation again where we said that what we need our variable by itself. And so we're going to be doing the inverse operation, correct?
Right.
And so here I'm going to be adding 2 to both sides. So a -2 plus 2
+2
will give us 0.
0.
And now I have B, which is equal to 9 plus 2,
11.
11.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy indeed.
Easy peasy.
I dread the fact that I'm going to say this corresponding thing again.
Wait. Go again.
But B plus C
Oh my God.
is corresponding with 4. And since they are equal matrices, B plus C is equal to 4. We know that B is 11, so
Right.
we can substitute our 11 there.
So we're now doing the inverse
we're
to
doing
make
an inverse
C the subject
to
of the
make C
equation.
the subject. Thank you, sweetheart. So I am going to be taking away 11.
From both sides, because we
From
want it
both
to
sides.
balance.
So now I have C being equal to 4, and I'm taking away 11.
Right.
So that will now give me a -7.
Okay.
Easy peasy, don't it?
Easy peasy.
Yeah. You know, I'm so happy that you brought me here so I can refresh my memory about this matrices. And I
Just
see I
I tell
taking
you,
over
girl,
your lesson, but
I got you,
don't
girl, I
sweat
got
it, don't
you.
sweat it.
I got you.
So D plus A is equal to
Okay, and we
3.
know what A is.
We know what A is.
Right.
A is a -2. All right, so I can actually rewrite this D plus -2 to actually read D. No, don't click it so many times. It will probably pop up. So D, and I'm subtracting or taking away, 2. Now, Latoya, you will tell me what to do here.
We're going to add 2 to both sides.
Ah, you're learning, girl.
Because we want to make D the subject of the equation.
All right, so now I'm left with D on my left-hand side, and it's equal to 5. Therefore, A is equal to -2, B is equal to 11, C is equal to -7, and D is equal to 5.
That was so easy.
Easy peasy.
Easy
Please
peasy.
do not have a dance for that. Moving on.
I'm thinking about it.
No, don't think. All right. So, Go ahead.
I would just like for us to make some very salient points, some very important points.
Okay.
So, when we're talking about adding and subtracting matrices, we want to ensure that we're adding and subtracting what?
Corresponding elements.
Okay. And when we're talking about equal matrices,
Yes.
we know that the element in the matrix on one side of the equal sign is equal to the element, rather.
Once they're in corresponding locations.
Right. So
All right,
the
fine.
elements in corresponding locations, this matrix on your left is always equal to the matrix on your right. However, before we know that they can be equal or know that they are equal, there's something about the order or the dimension
So
of the
we
matrix.
had said earlier that it must meet 2 conditions.
Right,
True.
right.
So we said that the order or the dimensions have to be the same. That's one.
The order, right.
Right.
And when we talk about order, what we're talking about again?
Number of rows. and
Number of
columns.
So in this
that
case,
order.
N right here. So this is our matrix N.
And this was M. Just name them both.
So that means that both of these matrices are in what order? What are their dimensions?
Well, this is 2 rows, 2 columns.
Right.
So this is a 2 by 2.
2 by 2. And it's a what kind? That's a special name.
Square. Square matrix. Oh my goodness. I can't believe
Should I make
remember
up a
that.
dance for
no.
square? Okay.
And N, 2 rows, 2 columns. So it's also a 2 by 2.
Yes.
But we said that's not the only condition.
Right.
Right. Once they're equal, we're saying elements that are in the same location. So if you are in row 1, column 1, you are equal to row 1, column 1 in the other matrix.
Right. And if you're in row 1, column 2, you are equal to row 1, column 2.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
So we're approaching the wrap up. So let's just tell our viewers quickly some application for matrices in real life. So we can zoom in on our screen to look at that, and then we just summarize.
So we can use matrices to solve other mathematical problems, as we just did.
Yes,
we did find some linear equations.
And you know, I think there will be lessons in the future that will actually take us through that. Hopefully, we'll see that coming up.
And we also have a thing called cryptography. And it's a type of computer coding which is extremely difficult to break.
So like
and
if it's
encoded matrix is sent to the receiver, and the receiver decodes the message by finding the inverse of the matrix.
Oh, well, we didn't touch inverse today, but I'm sure that will come up.
Do we
in
even
a future
want
lesson.
persons to know how to do these things though?
Of course, why not? Just not today.
Already.
But they have to stay tuned to find out about that.
And then one special thing, I bet you didn't know this. Did you know that stoplights are functioned using matrix?
They are controlled by matrices?
Yeah.
Wow,
the timing of how the lights changed are controlled by specific matrices.
You know what? Every time I drive up to a stoplight, I'm going to have an extra special appreciation for math.
I feel like you should do the corresponding dance each time, no?
All right, so we wrap this up by just sharing with you quickly the points to note when adding and subtracting matrices. Ensure that the matrices are compatible, meaning they're in the same order or dimension. And of course, we add or subtract corresponding elements or entries in each matrix.
And so that's all for today. We hope you grasped some of the points we discussed. Hopefully all. You can catch a repeat of today's lesson on JNN Today at 5 p.m. and in Schools Not Out highlights on Saturdays between 1 and 4 p.m.
It also will be on video on demand on onespotmedia.com. I am Karema Mundel-Thomas.
And I am Latoya Shurriah. See you next time.
Corresponding. I refuse to dance.
Corresponding.
You are crazy. You are.
TVJ present Schools Not Out. CSEC and CAPE lessons live Mondays to Fridays from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, with weekly Schools Not Out tutorial sessions on Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Schools Not Out, live CSEC and CAPE lessons here on TVJ. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, along with TVJ, present Schools Not Out.